What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Like always, like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a video. Today I want to talk about what is definitely another 11 out of 10, only my second one this month, the other being Star Trek Vendetta, and we have James Rowland's Sandstorm. Thanks so much to Blaze Breaks, who suggested this book in one of my posts on YouTube. I'm pretty jacked up on coffee right now, so I'm moving a little bit. I mean, it blew my expectations. Now, I've been told I do too many spoilers when I do these book reviews, so I'm going to try to talk about this book and not give spoilers. So what we got here is, like, I don't even know, I think this is like called a techno thriller sci-fi fantasy type of book. You have basically a dude from this like sect of the government called the Sigma Force. He's going to help this rich lady and a British museum, a doctor that works at a British museum. They're going to this, they're searching for a legendary city in Oman called Ugar. It's supposed to be myth. I mean, the city was supposedly found in the 90s. The author actually leaves the author's note at the end of the book referencing a book about that, which is interesting. I might have to pick it up. I do like me some nonfiction every now and then. The Road to Ubar by Nicholas Clapp. I said Ugar, but it's Ubar. Anyways, so all that's real interesting. There's a bunch of what do you call it? There's a bunch of references to religious texts, for the Bible, to the Quran, stuff like that. You have the Queen of Sheba, and this is her descendants and stuff. You have this this like subject that's been argued between religions forever about who the father of the Virgin Mary was. So connections to that, all this stuff is going on in this book. And so you have the doctor of the British Museum, Sophia, and you have Lady Kensington, the rich lady that's funding it all. She lost her father, who was searching for Ugar, in a tragic accident when she was younger. So now everything's tied in. You have Painter Crow from the Sigma Force. He's going to help them, basically, and his ex-partner is after the same stuff, and she's psycho. She's crazy. So they're all basically heading to the same spot. They end up meeting this like sect of all females that all look like Sophia, different ages, and find out all this stuff. These descendants of the Queen, these descendants of Queen Sheba from the Bible. If you know the Old Testament and you know stuff like that, then you know who Queen Sheba is. And everything that happens with Queen Sheba and like King Solomon, the flying carpets, the all this stuff that has been, no one knows how to, we have our commentaries and the interpretations of it, but, if you want to get creative and think outside the box, what could have them people really been thinking about? You know what I mean? So, that's my favorite. That's why I enjoy biblical studies. Not for the organized religion aspect of it, but for the, what ifs of it. You know what I mean? The what ifs. It's great. And this author, he dives into those what ifs like crazy, and it's amazing. It's super. This book was good. So good, in fact, that I ordered the second one, and if I had it right now, I would be reading it tonight. So we have all that going on. With all that being said, they're going for the city of Ugar. They meet this sect of all females that basically kind of could just disappear, kind of shape shift into animals. All these magical powers that they got. And the scientists are all searching for what they found traces of, because it starts off, the British Museum gets blown up. It's pretty horrific. Things, the book starts off crazy. Lots of crazy things happen. And so Painter Crow and his new partner Coral are sent to, investigate, and they have these little devices that they end up finding traces of antimatter. So antimatter, I didn't even think that was a real thing, but you get to the end of the book and you have the author's note, and he says right away, first, the whole concept of antimatter. Is it the stuff of science fiction? Not any longer. Certain laboratories in Switzerland has in fact produced antimatter particles and has been able to hold them stable for short periods of time. So there you go. You get to learn a little bit about this stuff. And he goes on. There's a lot of things in the book that are referenced to true events. So and like in the book, they talk about the area where they're at. The Milankovitch forcing. Basically, it's a wobble in the Earth's rotation that occurs in periodic intervals. So that's also true. So things like that. Uh, as you go throughout the book, and then if you need references to Queen Sheba, you could search text from the Bible, and there's text about who the Virgin Mary's father could possibly be. And that's one thing I will say: the women in this sect, they have the ability to impregnate themselves. So there's another what if scenario that you get if you're familiar with biblical scripture in the Quran. So pretty crazy stuff. And the book keeps you on the edge the whole time. There's no like chill factor at all, ever, not once. And this is a beefy book, 699 pages. It is straight up just it just keeps you at the edge of your seat. It was hard to put down. I enjoyed reading it. I read it in like 2 days. I mean, I just had a good time with it, and I didn't want to stop. It was by far an amazing book. So highly recommend it. I mean, it was good. So they're all heading. The only complaint, and if you go to Brian Lee Durfee's review of this book when he did it, I will agree with him. Minimizing the cover, the photo, which would be awesome to have like a, let's get that full art. That would be amazing. So, the next book should be here tomorrow. I will be reading it in the next couple of books. I have a couple of things I want to read next. Of course, I need to get a Star Trek in. I'm missing it. So gonna get The Rift by Peter David in. He's a phenomenal author. And then I'm gonna read a giant book by Brian Lee Durfee himself. Look at this monster, dude. It is ridiculous. So hopefully we could get this done before the end of the month. I might be. This is definitely the book to end the month on, I think, and I think I can manage it. You know what I mean? I spend my free time on the weekends reading if I'm not playing card games, and it feels good. And April might slow down for me a little bit as far as reading goes. I say that, but it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because we are going to be getting our new home relocated to our property that we're on, so we can get out of our small home and expand our wings and fly like peacocks into the new, much, much, much larger home. So excited for that. But Sandstorm, James Rowland's, this is part of the, I don't even remember what this series is called, the Sigma Force series, I believe. Great, how did I forget that? It doesn't say anywhere. So I believe it's the Sigma Force series or something like that. My wife's looking. We're not going to end the video until we find out. But it's an 11 out of 10. James Rowland has just shot up. We're going to see before I really solidify that he's one of my favorite authors now, up there with Tom Clancy. And, some of the Star Trek authors. And Dean Koontz. I got some Dean Koontz in that TBR. Like I said in the TBR video, if you go back and watch it, my TBR till summer, things are going to shift because this book blew me out. It blew my socks off. You know what I mean? Like, it was good.
Yes, it's Sigma Force.
Sigma Force series. There's 18 books in the series, and if they stay as good as this one, I'll be done with that series before the end of the year. That's just the way it is. I love reading. It's my number one hobby. I put on a good basketball game. I read and watch it at the same time, and I have a good time doing it. So I don't plan on stopping. This is like one of the only hobbies I've ever had that I've done for this long without stopping. Right? So, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, card games. Card games is my longest running hobby. So that's the video today, guys. Like and subscribe. James Rowland, Sandstorm, the first book in the Sigma Force series. I highly recommend it. Later.